Salem, welcome to this month's edition of Building Buzz. We're back out on the site where, as we've talked about, hasn't been a whole lot happening for the last couple of months, but design phase is winding down and we're getting ready for construction. So you see right behind me, you got a JE Dunn truck, and so I brought a couple of the experts in that are going to talk about construction, what our next steps are, and that is the exciting part of this project for us, is the construction, and we can't wait. So with me today are Jim and Mel from JE Dunn, and fill us in on what's going on next.
Thank you, Steve. The next phase of the project is actually going to be stripping the site asphalt that you see here so that we can begin building the elevations up to where they will need to be for the new police station. Once we do that, we will move into installing site utilities, which will be the stormwater, the sanitary lines, all the underground work, getting water to the building, everything that's really outside the building line. And once we kind of finish those activities, we'll move into building construction.
So that part sounds exciting, but before we start doing all this asphalt removing and earthwork and all that kind of stuff, we got to get subcontractors. Now, what's exciting about this is a local project. I mean, for me, I want to drive by this building with my kids and my grandkids and say, hey, I was part of this building, and that's kind of what we're looking for in subcontractors. So, Mel, how are we going to find those local subcontractors?
Well, thanks, DC. That's actually a great question. A lot of our customers that we work with want to try to make sure they're including the local community, and so it's something that we take a lot of pride in. And what we'll do is we will try to make sure that the folks that drive by this area, that live around this area, have an opportunity to turn and look at the site and know that they helped build that. But that can only be done with true interaction and true commitment. And that comes from us spending time at events, talking with the trade partners that we want to work with, making sure they understand what it's like to work with us, how to get in to work with us, and that they have a good idea of what to be expected out here long before they start trying to submit bids. And one of those events that we have coming up to start that is coming up with the Salem Chamber of Commerce on July 18th. And we're really going to focus on making sure that that first step with the earthwork subs really have a strong understanding of what it's like, what we're expecting, and make sure that we can get a lot of that local participation right off the bat.
So that answers the question about the earthwork and what's going on the site here, but I'm sure people have a lot of questions about the rest of the RFPs for the mechanical, electrical, all that kind of stuff. So when can they expect some information on that?
Sure. So the project team is actually in the middle of developing a very detailed bid schedule, which we will make available to the public so they know what's coming and when. But over the next 2 to 3 months, we will bring on our earthwork trade partners we've already talked about. Our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trade partners will also be brought on board. And then finally, our concrete trade partner as we start moving into foundation work with the actual building itself. And then finally, the rest of the packages that will be involved with bidding will more than likely take place after the first of the year when the design team finishes the construction documents for the project.
So anything else you want to add so that folks have a better idea about this project?
There are 2 or 3 other things that I want to make sure people understand. Like Jim alluded to, there's a lot of steps happening over a long period of time. So we will be doing this outreach and engagement with this community for at least the next 9 months. You're going to see us at the Salem Capital Connect. You're going to see them at the Latino Business Alliance. We will also be doing that event, like I mentioned before, at the Salem Chamber of Commerce, but not just once. We will be out on a regular basis here in the community, making sure that outreach happens. But we're also looking to make sure people from Eugene and Albany are included in that local concept. So we'll be doing things to make sure they're aware so that we can get as much participation, as busy as the market is right now, as much participation as possible to give you guys the project that you're looking for.
So thanks, Mel and Jim, for all that information. And Salem, you can expect to see some changes on this property. We will be having a groundbreaking at some point when all this asphalt is gone and we actually have some ground to break, so stay tuned for that. Look for the earth moving equipment. Keep in touch with what is going on the property by going to our website. We have a live camera there that updates every 5 minutes so you can see the progress that's going on. And please like and share and help us build some buzz about the new police station. Thanks for watching.